Hello students, we're going to talk about how to multiply with scientific notation. Multiplying with scientific notation is often used in science, and it is made very easy because the powers of 10 are all that are used when multiplying. When we multiply with scientific notation, we see that there are regular numbers and powers. What we want to do is sort them out using the commutative property of multiplication. So let's rewrite this multiplication expression, sorting out the regular numbers, 7 times 1, and then putting the powers next. Now, since both of the exponent expressions have a base of 10, we can use the multiplication property or the product property of exponents and simply multiply and add the exponents. So what we're going to do is first multiply 7 times 1 is 7, and then we're going to multiply 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 2nd, which is 10 to the 5 plus 2 power. And our final answer is 7 times 10 to the 7th. In this next example, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sort and multiply our regular numbers first, and then put our powers of 10 next to each other. What do you get for this one? Go ahead and do it yourself. Okay, I'm back. 4 times 2 is 8. 10 to the 2nd times 10 to the 2nd is 10 to the 2 plus 2, which is 10 to the 4th. Your final answer is 8 times 10 to the 4th. And you can use a multiplication symbol, or you can use the dot for multiplication. They mean the same thing. Let's look at this next example. 5 times a quantity, 8 times 10 to the 4th. Now notice, this is a multiplication sign. This is not the distributive property. The distributive property would have a plus sign. It is not this. So we can drop the parentheses and just do the same thing we've been doing in the other examples, put the numbers that are the same next to each other, and then multiply by the power of 10. So it is not the distributive property, this is all multiplication. So what we do is we simply multiply 5 times 8 and we get 40, and 40 times 10 to the 4th. Now, we have a slight problem here. Is scientific notation, as we remember, is when we're multiplying a number between 1 and 10 times a power of 10. The number 40 is not between 1 and 10, so we need to rewrite the number 40 in scientific notation. So 40 would be the same as 4.0 times 10 to the 1st. And then that's going to be multiplied times 10 to the 4th. So now we'll simplify this expression as we did the expressions above. This is going to be 4.0 times 10 to the 1 plus 4, or 10 to the 5th. And that's basically a situation when you multiply and you get a number that's not in scientific notation. What you need to do next is take that number and rewrite it in scientific notation, and then continue with the multiplication by simplifying your powers. And you must have a number that is between 1 and 10 in order to be in proper scientific notation. Pause right now and try these next two by yourself. Okay, if you just did the regular multiplication for the first one, 6 times 5 is 30, and that's multiplied by 10 to the 3rd, hopefully you realized that you still need to change the number 30 to scientific notation, which would be 3.0 times 10 to the 1st, because we moved our decimal one space to the left, and then that would have to be multiplied by the 10 to the 3rd, and your final answer should be 3.0 times 10 to the 4th. Same in this example, except this is not equal to 100. 20 times 4 is equal to 80 times 10 to the 0. I hope you caught that one. Then we would have to rewrite 10 to the, or 80 as 8.0 times 10 to the 1st times 10 to the 0, which, everybody tell me what that is. 10 to the 0 is equal to 1, because any number written to the 0 power is 1. So then we would say that is 8 times 1 times 10 to the 1st, and your final answer is 8.0, or just 8, times 10 to the first, because anything times 1 is just itself. Okay, let's stop there and have you try some practice problems on the back of the paper.